I'm convinced my 7-year-old daughter is mentally insane. The child psychologist asked if Mira had always been like this. I said no. 3 months ago, she was normal. Now she draws things that haven't happened yet, and they keep coming true. I'm a single father, 34 years old, divorced 2 years back when my ex-wife decided motherhood wasn't for her. She lives in California with her new boyfriend, sends birthday cards, never calls. Mira is 7, dark curly hair, blue eyes that seem too old for her face. After the divorce, we moved from Chicago to a small town in Maine. Fresh start, quiet neighborhood, good schools. Big mistake. The drawing started in October. I found the first one tucked under her bed while looking for her missing shoe. A house on fire. Stick figures running. Normal kid stuff except for one detail. The house number was visible. 247. Our neighbor's address. I asked Mira about it. She shrugged. Said a lady told her to draw it. What lady? The sad lady who visits at night. She comes through the window. I assumed imaginary friend. Kids do that. Especially lonely kids adjusting to new places. I threw the drawing away. 2 days later, 247 burned down. Electrical fire. The family got out safely but lost everything. I remembered Mira's drawing. Told myself it was coincidence. The second drawing appeared a week later. This one showed a car flipped on its side. A tree. A person lying on the ground. The license plate was partially visible. I could make out 3 letters. KDR. My stomach dropped. My coworker Karen drove a sedan with those letters in her plate. I almost called her. Almost warned her. But what would I say? My daughter drew your car accident? She'd think I was insane. Karen died on Friday. Head-on collision with a tree on Route 9. Pronounced dead at the scene. I found Mira's drawing again. Studied it. The details matched the police report exactly. Same tree, same position, same everything. I confronted Mira that night. Sat her down at the kitchen table. Asked her directly about the drawings. She looked at me with those 2 old eyes. The sad lady shows me things, Daddy. Things that are going to happen. She says I need to draw them so people will know. What people? You. She wants you to stop them, but I didn't stop them. I know. That's why she's getting angry. My blood went cold. What does she look like? This sad lady? Mira thought for a moment. She's pretty, but her face is wrong, like someone stretched it too much. And she has no shadow. Even when the moon is bright, she has no shadow. I called my sister that night. She's a therapist in Boston, deals with childhood trauma. I explained everything. The drawings, the predictions, the imaginary friend with no shadow. She listened without interrupting. Then asked if I'd considered Mira might be processing trauma through magical thinking, making sense of random events by believing she predicted them. It's common in children of divorce. They feel powerless. Creating a narrative where they have special knowledge gives them control. It made sense. I wanted it to make sense. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. The third drawing appeared 2 days later. I found it on the kitchen counter. A man hanging from a rope in what looked like a garage. The detail was disturbing. Mira had drawn his face carefully, tongue out, eyes bulging. Below the image, she'd written a name in her wobbly child handwriting. Mr. Reeves. I nearly threw up. Dennis Reeves lived 4 houses down. Friendly guy. Always waved. Had a daughter in Mira's class. I grabbed the drawing and drove to his house immediately. Knocked on the door. His wife answered. I asked if Dennis was home. She said he was in the garage, working on his car. I pushed past her, ran to the garage. Found him under his Toyota. Alive. Confused why I was there. Panting. I made up some excuse about borrowing a wrench. Drove home shaking. Showed Mira the drawing. Asked when the sad lady gave it to her. This morning. Before school. Did she say when it would happen? Mira nodded. Tonight. After his family goes to sleep. He's very sad inside. The lady says sad people make the easiest pictures. I called Dennis. Told him he needed to talk to someone. That I was worried about him. He laughed it off. Said he was fine. I insisted. He got angry. Told me to mind my own business. Hung up. I sat up all night, watching his house from my window. At 2 a.m. the garage light turned on. I called 911, said I heard screaming from my neighbor's house. Gave them the address. They arrived 6 minutes later. Found Dennis in his garage with a rope. He'd kicked the chair away. They cut him down. Saved him. The police came to my house the next morning. Asked how I knew. I said I didn't. Just had a feeling. They didn't believe me. Spent an hour questioning me. Looking around my house. Finally left with suspicious looks. Dennis's wife called that afternoon. Crying. Thanking me. Saying I saved her husband's life. I felt sick. I hadn't saved anyone. Mira had. Or the sad lady had. I didn't know which was worse. That night Mira came to my room. She was crying. The sad lady is mad at me, Daddy. She says I'm not supposed to tell you the names, just show you the pictures. You're supposed to figure it out yourself. I held my daughter while she sobbed. Asked what would happen if she didn't listen. Mira pulled back. Showed me her arm. There were marks, 4 long scratches, like fingernails had dragged across her skin. I took her to the emergency room. The doctor examined the scratches. Asked if we had a cat. We didn't. Asked if Mira had done it to herself. She shook her head. The doctor gave me a look, the kind that suggested I was the problem. Prescribed antibiotic cream. Told me to watch her carefully. Consider therapy. On the drive home, Mira was silent. Finally, she spoke. She says if I don't make the pictures, she'll hurt you instead. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Did she say why she wants you to make these drawings? Mira shrugged. Something about showing the truth, about making people believe. I don't understand it all, Daddy. She talks in riddles sometimes. The fourth drawing appeared the next morning. I found it on my pillow. A woman lying at the bottom of stairs, her neck at an unnatural angle. No name this time, just the location. Westbrook Elementary, main staircase, Mira's school. I called in sick to work, drove to the school, asked to speak to the principal. Mrs. Holloway met me in her office. I tried to explain without sounding insane, said I was worried about the safety of the main staircase, that the railing seemed loose. She assured me everything was up to code, recently inspected. I pressed, said I'd seen a child trip there yesterday. Could someone check it again? She agreed to have maintenance look at it, probably just to get rid of me. I picked Mira up after school, asked if anything happened on the stairs. She nodded. Miss Kelsey almost fell, but the janitor caught her. He was fixing the railing. My knees felt weak. The drawing had been wrong, or we'd prevented it. That night, Mira came to my room again. This time she wasn't crying. Her face was blank, empty. She held out another drawing. The sad lady says you're ruining everything. She says to give you this. The drawing showed two bodies, one large, one small, both lying in pools of blood. Our kitchen was visible in the background. Below the image was written, if you interfere again. I didn't sleep that night. Sat in Mira's room with a baseball bat, watching the window. Nothing came. Morning arrived. Mira woke up normal, asked for pancakes. I made them with shaking hands. She ate while humming, then looked at me. You need to let the pictures happen, Daddy. Otherwise she'll make one of us. I asked what the sad lady wanted, why she was doing this. Mira tilted her head. She says she used to be alive. Someone hurt her. Nobody believed her. So she died. Now she shows people the truth. About what's coming. About who's bad inside. She says you have a gift for seeing, but you keep wasting it. I called my sister again. Told her about the threats. The scratches. The escalation. She said I needed to get Mira evaluated immediately. This was beyond normal childhood imagination. Possible psychosis. Possible abuse response. She gave me a number for a child psychiatrist. I made an appointment for the following week. Meanwhile, the drawings continued. One every few days. A kid breaking his arm on the playground. A teacher having a heart attack. A fire at the grocery store. Some I tried to prevent. Others I let happen. Each time I interfered, the scratches on Mira got worse. She started having nightmares. Screaming in her sleep. I'd run to her room. Find her thrashing. Clawing at the air. Wake her up. She'd be drenched in sweat. Eyes wild. Saying the sad lady was angry. Very angry. The psychiatrist's office was cold, clinical. Dr. Brennan was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a notepad. She talked to Mira first. Asked about school. Friends. Home life. Then about the sad lady. Mira described her in detail. The stretched face. The missing shadow. The way she smelled like old flowers. How her fingers were too long. Dr. Brennan took notes. Asked if the sad lady ever told Mira to hurt herself or others. Mira said no, just to make the pictures. After an hour, Dr. Brennan asked to speak with me privately. Her diagnosis was clear. Early onset schizophrenia. Rare in children but not impossible. The imaginary friend. The prophetic visions. The self-harm. Classic symptoms. She wanted to start Mira on antipsychotics immediately. I refused. Said I needed time to think. Dr. Brennan warned me that without treatment, Mira's condition would deteriorate. She might become a danger to herself or others. I thanked her. Took Mira home. That night, I did something stupid. I stayed awake. Waited. At 3 a.m., I heard Mira's window open. Creaking hinges. I ran to her room. The window was wide open. Cold air streaming in. Mira was standing by it. Eyes closed. Arms outstretched. Like she was sleepwalking. I grabbed her. Pulled her back. She opened her eyes. They were completely white. Rolled back in her head. Her mouth opened. A voice came out. Not hers. Deeper. Wrong. You cannot stop what must be revealed. I stumbled backward. Mira collapsed. When she woke up minutes later, she had no memory of it. I installed locks on her window the next day. Heavy duty. Mira watched me work. Said it wouldn't help. The sad lady doesn't need windows. She can come through walls, through mirrors, through dreams. I asked how to make her stop. Mira looked at me with those ancient eyes. You have to find out who she was, who hurt her, make people believe what happened to her. Then she'll rest. How do I do that? The pictures will show you. You just have to stop running from them. That night, a new drawing appeared, different from the others. This one showed a girl, maybe 16, lying on a floor, bruises on her arms. A man standing over her. His face was detailed. I recognized him immediately. Frank Garrison, the previous owner of our house. I researched Frank online, found his obituary from 5 years ago, died of a heart attack at 63, survived by his wife. No children mentioned. I dug deeper, found old news articles. One from 1989. Local man questioned in daughter's death. The article was brief. Frank's daughter Rachel had died at 16. Fell down the stairs according to the official report. Some neighbors raised questions, but no charges were filed. The case went cold. I showed Mira the article, asked if this was the sad lady. She nodded. That's her. That's Rachel. She died in our house. In my room. Nobody believed she was hurt. They said she was clumsy, but she wasn't. Her daddy hurt her. For years. Then he pushed her. I contacted the old detective who'd worked the case. He was retired, living in Florida. Agreed to talk over the phone. He remembered the case vividly. Said he always felt something was off. Frank's story had holes. Rachel's injuries didn't match a simple fall. But there was no evidence. No witnesses. The wife backed Frank's story. The case was ruled accidental. The detective said it haunted him for years. One of many that got away. I asked if he'd reopen it if new evidence surfaced. He laughed bitterly. Said Frank was dead. His wife had dementia in a nursing home. What would be the point? Justice, I said. The point would be justice. He said justice doesn't bring back the dead, then hung up. The drawings became more specific. Rachel's story unfolded in crayon and marker. The abuse starting when she was 12. The threats to keep quiet. The times she tried to tell teachers who didn't listen. The night she finally fought back. The push. The fall. The cover-up. Each drawing was more detailed than the last. Mira's hand moved almost automatically. She'd sit at the kitchen table after school, draw for hours, barely blinking. When she finished, she'd look exhausted, empty. I'd find her asleep at the table, face pressed against the paper. I started documenting everything, photographing the drawings, recording Mira's explanations, building a case file even though I didn't know what I'd do with it. The scratches on Mira got worse. They covered her arms now, her legs. She started wearing long sleeves even though it was getting warmer. Teachers called, asked if everything was okay at home. I lied, said she had a skin condition, eczema. They suggested a doctor's note. I forged one. The school backed off, but I could see the suspicion. The whispered conversations. The way they watched me during pickup. I was becoming that parent, the one everyone worried about. One morning, Mira didn't wake up for school. I found her on her bedroom floor, unconscious, bleeding from her nose. I called 911. They rushed her to the hospital, ran tests, found nothing physically wrong. The doctor said it looked like a seizure, but the EEG was normal. They wanted to keep her overnight for observation. I stayed by her hospital bed, watching her sleep. Around midnight, she opened her eyes, looked at me. Rachel says time is running out. There's someone else. Someone who knew what Frank did. Someone who helped him hide it. Someone still alive. Who? Mira's hand moved weakly, pointing. I followed her finger to the window. A woman stood outside, elderly, gray hair, staring up at us. The same woman I'd seen in one of Mira's early drawings. Frank's wife, Margaret. She turned and walked away before I could react. I ran to the nurse's station, asked if they'd seen an elderly woman on this floor. They said no. Security cameras showed nobody, but I knew what I'd seen. Margaret knew we were digging, and she was watching. Mira was released from the hospital the next day. I took her home, found our front door open, house trashed, furniture overturned, Mira's drawings scattered everywhere. Some were torn, others burned in the fireplace. But the originals, the ones I'd photographed, were backed up on my laptop. I called the police. They came, took a report, found no signs of forced entry, suggested I might have left the door unlocked. Their tone implied I was wasting their time. After they left, I gathered what remained of the drawings. Mira helped. Quiet, calm, almost resigned. She said Rachel was very upset. Nobody was listening. Nobody ever listened. That night, I made a decision. I'd find the truth myself. Prove what Frank did. Force people to believe. I started with the nursing home. Visited Margaret during afternoon hours. She sat in a wheelchair by the window. Vacant eyes. Drool on her chin. The nurse said she rarely spoke anymore. Advanced dementia. I showed her pictures of Rachel anyway. The old photos I'd found online. Margaret's eyes flickered. Focused. Just for a moment. Her mouth moved, forming words. My baby. My poor baby. Then she was gone again. Lost in the fog of her failing mind. I asked the nurse if Margaret ever mentioned her daughter. The nurse shook her head. Said Margaret didn't remember having children. Sad, really. I went to the library. Searched microfilm for old newspapers. Found the original articles about Rachel's death. More details emerged. Rachel had been a good student. Quiet. Kept to herself. Friends said she changed around age 12. Became withdrawn. Wore long sleeves. Made excuses to avoid going home. Classic signs everyone missed. One article mentioned a teacher who'd reported concerns to the principal, Miss Abbott. I tracked her down. She was in her 70s now, living 2 towns over. Agreed to meet at a coffee shop. She remembered Rachel vividly. Said that girl haunted her dreams. She'd filed 3 reports with the school. Each time nothing happened. Frank was a respected businessman, big donor. The principal dismissed her concerns, called her overzealous. Miss Abbott cried while talking. Said she tried to reach Rachel privately, offered help, resources. But Rachel was too scared. Said her father would know. Would punish her. Miss Abbott reported it to CPS. They did a home visit. Frank charmed them. Margaret backed him up. Rachel lied when asked. Said everything was fine. Case closed. 2 months later, Rachel was dead. Miss Abbott quit teaching shortly after. Couldn't look at kids anymore, knowing she'd failed one so completely. I recorded our conversation. Asked if she'd be willing to give an official statement. She asked what good it would do after all these years. I told her about Mira, about the drawings, about Rachel trying to speak through my daughter. Miss Abbott looked at me like I was insane, but she agreed to write down what she remembered. The next drawing showed a shed, behind Frank's old house, our house now. There was something buried there, something important. I waited until night, grabbed a shovel, started digging behind the shed in our backyard. 2 feet down, I hit something solid. A metal box, rusted, old. I pried it open. Inside were journals, Rachel's journals, years of entries, detailing the abuse, the threats, her attempts to get help, everything, evidence, proof. I sat in the dirt, reading by flashlight, crying. This girl had documented everything, and still nobody saved her. The final entry was dated the day she died. She wrote that she was going to tell. Finally. She had proof now. Photos Frank didn't know about. A friend was helping her. They were going to the police tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. I took the journals inside, showed Mira. She touched them gently. Rachel says thank you. She says you're the first person who believed her. I asked what happened to the photos Rachel mentioned. Mira drew again, this time showing a lockbox in a bank, downtown. I went the next morning, asked about old safety deposit boxes under Frank Garrison's name. They found one, never claimed after his death, required a court order to open. I called a lawyer, explained everything. She thought I was nuts, but agreed to file the petition. Said it would take weeks, maybe months. I didn't have that kind of time. Mira was getting worse. The scratches became gouges. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, just drew. Hour after hour, Rachel's story pouring out of her. I contacted a local journalist, someone who covered cold cases, pitched Rachel's story, showed him the journals, Miss Abbott's statement, Mira's drawings. He was skeptical, but intrigued, agreed to look into it, started making calls, interviewing people who knew the family. The story started gaining traction, local interest, then regional. News stations picked it up. Dead girl's voice. Daughter's drawings revealed decades-old murder. The coverage exploded. People who knew Frank came forward. Employees who'd been abused. Women he'd harassed. A pattern emerged. Frank Garrison had been a monster, and everyone knew. But nobody said anything. Because he had money, power, connections. But something else happened that I didn't expect. Other families started calling. Other parents whose children had drawn disturbing things. Predicted deaths. Accidents. One woman from Vermont said her son had been drawing the same stretched-face woman for months. Another father in New Hampshire reported identical scratches on his daughter. Same pattern, same placement. All the children described the sad lady. All lived in houses with dark histories. Murders, suicides, abuse. The pattern was undeniable. Rachel wasn't alone. She was part of something bigger, something I didn't understand. A professor from Boston University reached out. Dr. Helena Worth. She studied paranormal phenomena, had documented cases of children acting as conduits for traumatic energy. She wanted to interview Mira, study the drawings. I was desperate, agreed to meet her. Dr. Worth arrived with equipment, cameras, audio recorders, EMF detectors. She spent hours with Mira, asked detailed questions, recorded everything. When she finished, she sat me down, explained her theory. Traumatic deaths leave imprints, energy signatures. Some people, usually children, are sensitive to these imprints. They become receivers, translating the energy into images, messages. The scratches were a side effect, the conduit burning out from overuse. Dr. Worth said Mira was one of the strongest conduits she'd ever documented, but it was killing her. Slowly. The energy was too much. Her body couldn't handle it. Without intervention, Mira would burn out completely, die, or worse, become trapped between worlds, a permanent conduit, forever receiving messages from the dead. Dr. Worth had seen it happen twice before. Both times the children ended up catatonic, living but not alive. She said there was one way to stop it. Complete the message. Force the truth into the light. Once Rachel's story was fully told, fully believed, the connection would break. Mira would be free. The pressure worked. The court expedited the petition. The lockbox was opened. Inside were photos. Rachel had documented her injuries over years. Bruises, burns, broken bones. Each photo dated, each one damning. Also inside was a tape recording. Rachel's voice, explaining everything, naming Frank, describing specific incidents, times, dates. The recording was 18 minutes long. I listened to it once. Never again. That girl's pain was unbearable, but it was undeniable. The police had no choice. They reopened the case, ruled Rachel's death a homicide, posthumously. Frank couldn't be prosecuted. He was dead, but the truth came out. Margaret died 3 days after the announcement. Heart attack. The nurses said she'd been agitated that morning, kept saying sorry over and over, crying, reaching for someone who wasn't there. Then she clutched her chest. Gone. I didn't feel sorry for her. She'd enabled a monster, let her daughter suffer. Watched her die, helped cover it up. Whatever guilt finally caught her was 30 years too late. But Mira said something strange when she heard. She said Rachel forgave her, that Margaret was scared too, that Frank hurt her as well. I didn't want to hear it, didn't want to feel sympathy, but maybe that was Rachel's final gift. understanding that victims sometimes become enablers out of survival, not excuse, just explanation. The drawing stopped completely after Margaret died. Mira woke up one morning and the scratches were healing. She looked lighter, younger, like someone had lifted a crushing weight off her shoulders. She said Rachel was gone, happy now, free. The sad lady wasn't sad anymore. Mira started eating again, sleeping through the night, playing with other kids. Her teachers noticed the change, called it remarkable. Dr. Brennan wanted to do follow-up tests. I declined. Whatever had been wrong was fixed. Not by medicine, not by therapy, by truth, by justice, by someone finally listening. But the story didn't end there. The journalist who'd helped, his name was David Cross, he wanted to write a book, document the whole thing. Mira's drawings, Rachel's journals, the investigation, the families who came forward. He said it could help other cases, other forgotten victims. I hesitated, didn't want Mira exploited. David promised to change names, protect identities, focus on the systemic failures, how institutions protect abusers, how children's voices get dismissed, how truth gets buried. I agreed, with conditions. Mira stays anonymous. No photos of her, no identifying details. He signed a contract, started writing. The book came out 8 months later. The Sad Lady, how one child's drawings exposed decades of abuse. It became a bestseller, sparked national conversations about child protection, mandatory reporting, believing victims. David donated his profits to organizations fighting child abuse, set up a foundation in Rachel's name. Schools started using the book in training, teaching educators to recognize signs, to act, to persist even when dismissed. Rachel's death finally meant something. Her suffering wasn't wasted. She'd saved countless children by speaking from beyond the grave. But there were consequences I hadn't anticipated. True crime enthusiasts found our town, started showing up, taking photos of our house, Rachel's house. Some knocked on our door, wanted to meet Mira, see where it happened. We had to move, again. This time to a small town in Vermont. Changed our names legally, started over. Mira became Lily, I became James. New identities, new life. Dr. Worth helped arrange it, said we deserved peace, that we'd done enough. I was grateful, exhausted, ready to be normal. Lily, I still slip sometimes, adjusted well. New school, new friends. Nobody knew our story. She was just another kid. She stopped drawing completely for a year. Wouldn't touch crayons, markers, anything. Her teacher was concerned. I explained she'd had a traumatic experience. Art was a trigger. They understood, gave her alternatives, let her work with clay instead. Slowly, she started creating again, but nothing disturbing. Just normal kid stuff. Animals, flowers, houses with smiling families. The therapy helped. We both went, separately and together, worked through everything, the fear, the helplessness, the weight of carrying someone else's truth. On Rachel's birthday, March 14th, we visit her grave. It's 2 hours away, worth the drive. Someone cleaned up the headstone after the case broke, planted flowers, left gifts, notes from strangers thanking her, saying they believed her, that her voice mattered. Lily talks to the stone, tells Rachel about school, friends, her life, says she hopes Rachel is proud, that she's sorry it took so long, that she wishes she could have helped faster. I cry every time. This little girl carrying so much, too much, but she's stronger than I ever was. Other families still reach out, through Dr. Worth, their children having similar experiences, seeing things, drawing things, scratches appearing. Dr. Worth has documented 23 cases now, all across the country, different spirits, different traumas, same pattern. She's writing a research paper, academic documentation, trying to get the phenomenon recognized, studied properly. Most scientists dismiss it, but some are listening, starting to ask questions. How do children know things they shouldn't? Why do the drawings match reality? What's the mechanism? Dr. Worth thinks we're scratching the surface, that there's an entire world we don't understand. I just want it to leave my daughter alone. Last month, something happened. Lily came home from school upset, said a new girl in her class, Zoe, was acting strange, drawing disturbing pictures, talking to someone invisible, scratches on her arms. My blood ran cold. I asked what kind of pictures. Lily showed me one Zoe had dropped, a man in a business suit, standing over a small figure in a bed. The figure was crying, drawn in red crayon. I recognized the pattern immediately. Another conduit, another spirit trying to speak. I called Dr. Worth. She drove up that weekend, met with Zoe's family, started the process, investigation, documentation, truth-seeking. Zoe's spirit was her uncle, died 10 years ago, car accident. But before he died, he'd been abusing Zoe's older sister. Nobody knew. The sister, now 17, confirmed everything once the drawings started making sense. She'd repressed the memories, blocked them out. But seeing them drawn in crayon by her little sister broke something open. She reported it. Therapy started. The family fractured, divorced, reformed, healing slowly. Zoe's scratches faded. The drawings stopped. Another truth revealed. Another victim heard. Dr. Worth documented everything. I asked Dr. Worth why this kept happening around us. She said Lily was different now, changed by being a conduit. She'd become a beacon, drawing other conduits to her, like recognizing like. It wasn't Lily's fault, just a side effect. The energy signature she carried attracted similar energies. We'd have to learn to live with it, help when we could, shield Lily when we couldn't. It wasn't fair. My daughter didn't ask for this, didn't want to be special, just wanted to be normal. But normal was gone. Had been gone since the first drawing. The scratches came back last week. Not on Lily, on me. 4 long marks down my left arm, appeared overnight. Didn't hurt. Just there. Lily saw them at breakfast. Her face went white. She knows what it means. Something's trying to communicate. Something's chosen me now. I'm terrified. Don't want this. Don't want to see what she saw, feel what she felt. But I don't have a choice. Neither did she. The drawings will start soon. Dr. Worth warned me. Said the conduit can transfer, especially between family members with strong bonds. I'm next. The sad lady, or something like her, has found a new voice. Lily's been different since the scratches appeared. Protective. Explains things. Tells me what to expect, how to handle it. She's become the expert, teaching me. My 7-year-old daughter preparing her father for horror. Wrong. All wrong. But necessary. She says the new spirit is angry, male, strong. He's not like Rachel. Not sad. He's furious. Wants revenge, not justice. I asked what the difference was. She said justice is truth. Revenge is punishment. This spirit wants someone to hurt the way he hurt. I'm afraid of what I'll draw, what he'll make me reveal, who he'll want, destroyed. The first drawing came yesterday. My hand moved on its own, picked up a pen, drew a woman, middle-aged, standing in a kitchen. Behind her was a boy, maybe 6. His face was covered in bruises. The woman was smiling, holding a wooden spoon. The boy was crying. Below the image, my hand wrote a name, Judith Campbell. I don't know any Judith Campbell. Looked her up online, found her immediately. Local woman. Works at the grocery store. Has a 6-year-old son named Owen. School records show multiple absences. Suspicious injuries. CPS has been called twice. No action taken. The family seems normal. Judith volunteers at church. Owen's quiet but polite. Nobody suspects, except the spirit. And now me. I don't know what to do. Call CPS? Based on a psychic drawing? They'll laugh. Think I'm insane. But if I don't, and Owen dies? If the spirit is right? I'm complicit. Dr. Worth says to document everything. Build evidence. Watch the family. Look for proof. Then act. But watching feels wrong. Passive. That boy is suffering now. Every day I wait is another day he endures. Lily says the spirit is screaming at her. Furious I haven't acted. The scratches on my arm are burning, itching, getting deeper. I'm running out of time. I went to Owen's school today. Volunteered as a lunch monitor. Watched him in the cafeteria. He sat alone. Ate slowly. Flinched when anyone moved too quickly near him. His arms were covered despite the warm weather. Same pattern Lily had. Same pattern Rachel had. I approached his teacher afterward. Asked casually about Owen. She sighed. Said he was struggling. Academically and socially. Mom was defensive about concerns. Dad wasn't in the picture. They'd reported it, but nothing changed. I asked if she'd noticed injuries. She looked uncomfortable. Said she couldn't discuss specific students. But her eyes said yes. That night I drew again. This time, showing Judith's past. She'd been abused as a child, beaten, starved, locked in closets. The cycle continuing. Her becoming her mother. Owen becoming her. The spirit showed me everything. Judith's justifications. Her belief she was disciplining. Teaching respect. The same lies her mother told. The drawing was detailed. Specific. Dates. Times. Injuries matching medical records I shouldn't have access to. The spirit was feeding me information. From where? How? I didn't understand. Didn't want to. Just wanted it to stop. Lily found me drawing at 3 a.m. Sat next to me. Watched. When I finished, she said the spirit was Owen's brother. Died 2 years ago. Judith beat him to death. Made it look like a fall. Nobody questioned it. An accident. Bad luck. But it wasn't. He'd suffered for years. Finally, his body gave up. Now he was trying to save Owen. Stop the cycle. Prevent another death. I asked why not haunt Judith directly. Make her stop. Lily said spirits can't affect the living that way. Can only communicate. Need humans to act. To intervene. To save who they couldn't. I gathered everything. The drawings. The documentation. Details no outsider should know. Took it to CPS. A different caseworker this time. Showed her everything. She was skeptical. Asked how I obtained private information. I said an anonymous source. Someone with access. She didn't believe me but agreed to investigate. Opened a new case. Assigned an investigator. They'd do a home visit. Unannounced. Check on Owen. Look for evidence. I'd done all I could. Now I had to wait. The home visit happened 3 days later. They found Owen with fresh bruises. A broken finger. Judith claimed he'd fallen. Playing roughly. But the injuries didn't match. The investigator noticed marks on the walls. Holes from thrown objects. Blood on a wooden spoon. They removed Owen immediately. Emergency custody. Placed him with a foster family. Judith was arrested. Charged with child abuse. The evidence was overwhelming once they looked. Medical records showed a pattern. School records confirmed absences after incidents. Neighbors came forward. Said they'd heard screaming. Seen the boy with injuries. Everyone knew. Nobody acted. The scratches on my arm faded after Owen was removed. The burning stopped. I haven't drawn since. The spirit got what he wanted. His brother's safe, justice, revenge, whatever. I feel hollow, used. This power, if that's what it is, comes with weight, responsibility. Every drawing is a life I have to save, a truth I have to reveal. I'm not strong enough, don't want it, but I don't get a choice. Neither did Lily, neither did the spirits. We're all trapped in this cycle. The dead speaking, the living listening, or trying to. Dr. Worth says I'm the fourth parent she's documented becoming a conduit after their child. It's rare, but happens. The connection transfers, strengthens. Sometimes multiple family members become receivers. She's studied one family, 3 generations all experiencing it. Grandmother, mother, daughter, all drawing spirits, all revealing truths, all scarred by it. She asked if I'd participate in a study. Let her document my experiences. I said no. Don't want to be a case study, a data point. Just want normalcy. But that's gone. Has been since October. Since that first drawing of the burning house. Lily's teacher called yesterday. Said Lily's been drawing in class again. Nothing disturbing. Just portraits. Of children. Classmates mostly. But some faces the teacher doesn't recognize. Children who don't attend that school. I asked Lily about it. She said they're future friends. Kids she'll meet someday. The spirits show her things that haven't happened yet. Not just past traumas. Future connections. She's drawing her destiny. The people who'll matter. Who she'll save. Who'll save her. I don't know if that's beautiful or terrifying. I've started a support group. Other parents whose children are conduits. We meet monthly. Share experiences. Strategies. Dr. Worth facilitates. There are 12 families now. From all over. We video conference. Talk about the drawings, the scratches, the spirits, the burden. Some parents are angry. Feel their children were cursed. Others see it as a gift. A calling. I'm somewhere in between. Grateful Lily helped Rachel. Terrified of what comes next. All of us united by something we can't explain. Don't fully understand, but live with daily. Owen's doing better. His foster family is kind, patient. He's in therapy, learning to be a kid again, to feel safe. His brother, the spirit, hasn't contacted me since. Mission accomplished. I wonder if he's at rest now, if that's possible, or if he's moved on, found another conduit, another child to save. The cycle, continuing. Dr. Worth says spirits with unfinished business rarely rest. They wander, search, attach to sensitives, use them to complete what they couldn't in life. It's not possession, more like partnership, temporary, necessary, then gone. Rachel visits sometimes, not to draw, just to check in. Lily says she appears in dreams, smiles, says thank you, asks about our lives, like an older sister, protective, caring, present even in death. I've never seen her. Don't have Lily's gift for direct communication, just the drawings, the compulsions, the scratches. But Lily describes her in detail, the real Rachel, not the stretched face sad lady, a normal girl, pretty, kind, funny, who deserved better, who got justice, finally, too late, but finally. The book's 2nd edition is coming out, updated with new cases. Zoe's story, Owen's story, others Dr. Worth has documented. David's donating all proceeds again. The foundation is growing, helping families, funding research, training professionals. Rachel's legacy expanding, touching lives she'll never meet, deaths that weren't wasted, suffering that created change. It doesn't erase what happened, doesn't make it okay, but it means something, has to mean something. Otherwise it's just pain, endless, pointless. We make meaning from trauma, or it destroys us. Last night I dreamed of them all, Rachel, Owen's brother, other spirits I've drawn. They stood together, watching me, not threatening, just present, waiting. I woke up terrified, knowing more would come, more drawings, more truths, more children needing rescue. This is my life now, our life. Lily and I bound together by this terrible gift. We'll help who we can, save who we're shown, bear the weight because someone has to, because the dead deserve voices, the suffering deserve witnesses, the forgotten deserve justice. Even if it comes through crayon drawings from a 7-year-old girl, even if it destroys us slowly, we'll keep going, keep listening, keep revealing, until we can't anymore, until we burn out, or until the spirits finally run out of stories to tell. I pray for the latter, prepare for the former, and hold my daughter close through it all. 3 months later, Lily stopped drawing completely, and the scratches never returned. Both Rachel's truth and Owen's salvation had created a seal, a protective barrier that Dr. Worth said happens when a conduit completes their purpose with absolute resolution, when the dead find perfect peace and release their chosen vessel. And though Lily still sometimes sees Rachel in dreams, smiling and free, the sad lady is gone forever, taking with her the terrible gift that saved lives but nearly destroyed ours. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe and like to not miss the next story.